Have you ever said that you want intimacy, but the moment that someone gets very close to you, close enough to really see you, your fears, your wounds, your unpolished, imperfect self, you find then ways to start pushing them away. Maybe you get very critical, you get too busy, you don't have time for them, convincing yourself that you're not quite right for them or they're not quite right for you. Well, if this is you, you're in the right place. And I want to start off by saying you're not broken. In the next hour, I'm going to show you exactly why this happened and, more importantly, what you can do about it. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Gabriel Gonsalves, and I'm very glad that you're here with me in our weekly Heartstream. If you are here for the very first time, welcome. This is a dedicated space that we have every Sunday at 11 a.m. so that we can tune in, connect, energize our hearts, and unify our hearts to the greater collective heart of humanity and radiate love and compassion to a world that so desperately needs it. And along the way, what we do is we create a deep sense of ease and well-being, creating the conditions so that we can heal. And then we radiate that healing out to others, our friends, our families, focusing always in one core theme or topic for the week that is normally related to a weekly article and deep dive. Welcome to those of you who are joining us live today, regulars. You know who you are. Thank you so much for being with us today, and everybody else also who's watching the replay. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe to this channel so that you can receive notifications. And every time that I go live, if you notice, I've been releasing a lot of new prayers, new guided meditations, and there's a lot more coming up in the next few weeks. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, which is about why we push away the love that we crave the most, and more importantly, how to finally let love in. And again, this is part of what I'm going to be sharing with you today. It's part of the key points, I would say, of a deep dive article that I wrote on this topic. I send out a weekly newsletter called The Feeling Heart. And so what I do then, I cover a deep topic, and then I share some of the highlights or the main ideas from the topic on our Sunday's Heartstream. So I began by asking you a question. Have you ever caught yourself pushing people away and sometimes not even knowing why you do this? You have a deep desire in your heart to connect with somebody. Maybe you are walking down the park and you see a couple, cuddling each other, or a girl who's like crying on the arms of a guy, or vice versa, or another girl, whatever. And you look at them and you think to yourself, oh my God, I wish that I had that. I wish I had someone with whom I gave myself permission to be raw and tender and really allow them to see me, and somebody that I could also really see and establish a deep heart-to-heart connection. Yet, when somebody gets close to you, the very first thing that you do is you panic. You become critical of them, or you start to get too busy. You don't have time for them, convincing yourself again that, like, I don't know what it is about them, that I don't know, maybe they even trigger something inside of you, or you just simply shut down, and then just become hard, and your heart gets cold, basically. Well, here's a question that I want to put out here to you. What if the intimacy that you avoid is actually the healing that you most need right now? If you recognize this pattern, you're not broken or incapable of love, quite the opposite. You are very much hardwired for love. But you're doing exactly what your nervous system, what your brain primarily was designed to do when you perceive a threat. Okay, but here's a question that might change everything for you. What if this intimacy that you crave so much but that you're avoiding, is the only thing that ultimately can heal the wounds that make you avoid it in the first place. Because there is a reason why you push people away. There is obviously something that we all deep down are protecting. Well, beyond the semantics of what intimacy means in the dictionary, I find it really interesting that when you break out this word, almost the way a child would, it really breaks into intimacy, into me, you see. So, what if true intimacy is giving someone just permission to really see into your authentic self and being willing to truly see them in return so that you can really, really see? Is that kind of thing that you see in the Avatar movies when they say, I see you, I see you. It's like, I really, really see you. And it's not about perfection, it's about presence. It's showing up as you truly are with all your beauty and flaws, your light and your shadows. Everything else is just negotiation. And so there are, I find, 4 dimensions to really deep connection, especially, when we're talking about intimacy. There's obviously emotional intimacy, which this is when you give yourself permission to really share your innermost feelings, your fears, your desires, your longings, the vulnerable truth that create trust in other people and also gives other people permission to also be raw and real with you. Then there is another type of intimacy that you could say is more mental, and this emerges through meaningful conversations and intellectual exchanges that challenge and expand both peoples. When you share these deep ideas that you're having, that you're learning, insights that you're having. So this isn't necessarily about revealing your own deep feelings, fears. But this is about sharing some insights. And I find, that there's a big contrast between these 2 levels of intimacy. Mental, I called, this is when we talk about like-minded people who think like us, people who share the same beliefs as us. Whereas emotional intimacy doesn't require you to share the same beliefs or the same thoughts. It's really about just sharing what ultimately makes us human, which is the deep emotional world that we all share. Then there is physical intimacy that extends way beyond sexuality to just a reassuring touch, a long embrace, the silent comfort of being held. For example, in my Medicine for the Heart song circles, we always end the circle after we've been chanting and praying and meditating, and we then share a beautiful hug with every single person who came to the circle. So everybody walks away feeling not only a deeper sense of connection, emotional and spiritual connection through the experience, but we also walk away feeling like, oh, there's just something very warming, heartwarming about just being held by another person. And then there is experiential intimacy. And this is when we basically have shared experiences, adventures, memories that become our unique language. And this is the kind of intimacy that people who have shared the same journey, went to the same school, took the same class, went on the same trip. Like every time, for example, that I walk the Camino with a group of people, there is this experiential intimacy that is developed along the journey. So we are wired for connection. We are wired for intimacy. It is not a comfort. It is really a spiritual and even biological necessity because our survival depends on that. Now, there is a cost of closing our hearts, building a big wall around it and protecting yourself, which is the cost of disconnection. It elevates our cortisol levels. Cortisol is a stress hormone that kicks your body into high gear. The brain anticipates rejection over acceptance. So you start thinking like, oh, this person is not going to like me. This person is not going to accept me. They're not. They're going to judge me if I share this. And so you go out to the world and basically with the energy of fear, feeling like you have to protect yourself all the time. And again, that raises a lot of cortisol. But when there's a secure bond and you give yourself permission to just really be you when you are with other people, that act itself creates biological safety. Okay, it moves your body out of the chronic high alert stress, and this is linked scientifically to lower rates of anxiety, depression, and a higher self-esteem. And not only that, but a greater um, emotional and sense of resilience, ability to bounce back. So, if it is so vital then for our survival, why do we treat it like a threat? The refusal to be vulnerable is rarely a conscious choice, I find. It's a defense mechanism that we all learned through earlier pain, and it makes perfect sense. We have a nervous system that is designed to protect us, to keep us away from pain, and for survival. So we will instantly pull back because of a conflict between our deepest needs and our core fears when there is something that your nervous system, whether consciously or unconscious, is afraid of because maybe you've been hurt in the past, etc. Then all your defense systems will come up. So I find that we're talking about intimacy, true intimacy. The opposite of it is actually performance. It's when we guard up, as Brené Brown would say, and we put up this shield, this mask, this persona, and we pretend that everything is okay. And so we can either be revealing or we can be performing at any given time. And performing is, for the most part, really an illusion that ultimately most people will not buy, because most people have some kind of an inner built-in mechanism to really tell when you say, I'm fine, but you're not. I'm referring obviously to the people close to you, the people that are really meaningful and important to you. So why do we then build up this wall? Why do we then push people away, especially the people that we really want to build a deeper connection with? Well, first is the fear, is the that comes from protecting all wounds. We all have painful experiences, childhood trauma, devastating breakups from the past when we open our hearts to someone. And these led us to build these protective walls. And again, this armor that is a social mask, pretending everything that is fine, is our ego's way of maintaining control. And again, don't forget, your ego is part of your survival mechanism. And so I found it really interesting when I began coaching. I was working with this woman who was a brilliant executive, and she was a top negotiator for this bank. And she could, broker like these multi-million-dollar deals. But she panicked with emotional closeness. So she had a level, at the level of the world, at the level of the mass, the persona, she could really function. She was very well armored, but when it came to really letting down this guard and letting somebody in, she would really struggle with that. And the root cause, through our work, we found out that it had to do with her father's sudden abandonment when she was only 9 years old, which created a deep belief in her that anyone that she opened her heart to, that she loved, that she let in, would eventually abandon her. So she would have then abandoned people before she was abandoned. And obviously there's a lot that's been written on this in attachment literature, the attachment theory. And and this basically then goes out and creates this neurological patterns with how we connect and attach to people. The second fear is that we are ultimately dreading what other people may think about us, their judgments. Because let's face it, authenticity makes you vulnerable to criticism. The moment you reveal yourself, what it is that you're really thinking and feeling, especially, you open yourself to criticism. And in fact, it happens very often. I hear this very, very often from my clients and my students, that the moment you share something intimate with your partner, then they use that against you. So may as well not do that. Okay, so it feels safer instead to present a more curated version of yourself than to reveal actually you perceive imperfections and flaws and insecurities. This, I find, it then manifests as perfectionism, which then is our futile attempt to earn love. And I can say guilty, Your Honor, with regards to this, because this has been the story for the majority of my life. Right? I created this perfect image of myself, which I then brought out into the world, and and it was through achievement that I wanted to, or I decided I was going to earn other people's admiration and love. For me, it came down from a deep wound, deep conflict that happened inside of me when I heard my father, when I was about 11 years old, tell a friend of his, Gabriel doesn't have a personality. And so at that moment, I got very confused. I didn't know exactly what that meant, but I kind of got the sense like, wow, my father believes I don't have a personality, so I better get one. And so then I thought, I'm just going to get the personality of a person who's successful and an achiever and go getter and all of that. And that's how I'm going to earn my father's love, rather than, again, just giving myself permission to express my own vulnerability. And so I see this again over and over in my coaching practice. Like, for example, a client, we're just calling him Marcus here, it's not his real name, who never told his parents, he never told his partner of 5 years about his dream of becoming a writer. And basically, because, when he believed deep down, like, if I share this with her, she's going to dismiss it, and I cannot bear that. She sees me as a certain way. He happened to be in corporate finance, and so he had this deep desire. I wanted to be a writer, but he was afraid to share that again with somebody that was very close to them. The third fear is when we face intimacy, it will ultimately reveal something much deeper about ourselves, which we just cannot face. Okay? Because ultimately, when you open your heart to someone, what you're really doing is creating a mirror. Because true intimacy acts as a mirror, bringing your deepest insecurities to the surface. This often manifests as an oscillation between two opposite catastrophic fears: the fear of being abandoned and the fear of engulfment or being trapped. It kind of goes to the opposite. There's a fear of, like, oh my God, the belief that once your authentic self is revealed, your partner or your friend or the other person will leave you, or the dread of being controlled, dominated, or losing your identity, and losing yourself in the relationship, and then obviously being hurt as a result of that. And so these are the fears that ultimately, in these very most intimate relationship, then sabotage behaviors, or lead to sabotage behaviors, like criticizing your partner to create distance, or emotionally shutting down, which is a form of stonewalling. So if avoidance is the lock, then if performance, the guarding of the heart and the mask, is the lock, vulnerability is the key. Here is, I think, what is at the heart of this week's lesson and deep dive. You can let someone truly see you if you're still hiding, especially hiding from yourself. I truly believe that true intimacy begins with yourself. True intimacy begins with yourself. Because it is the moment when you begin to really be fully present with your own fears, insecurities, imperfections. to your own vulnerability, the easier I find it is to share that with others. But if you're so disconnected that you're not even aware of them, if you keep, as I was saying, like achieving or wearing the mask, even to yourself, convincing yourself that you are this, that you are that, then it's going to be very hard to even do it with other people. Intimacy isn't about finding someone who accepts you. It's about accepting yourself first. The messy parts, the scared parts of you, the parts that you've been taught to keep quiet because they're too dark, too evil, too whatever. And so it is when you stop running away from your own truth that you stop needing others then to validate it. And so the journey to true intimacy begins by then you learning how to be fully present, vulnerable, and available to yourself. And that I find it's a skill that can be learned over time. And it can be learned by simply developing the daily practice of just being very present with yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, sensations, everything that arises moment to moment, deeply welcoming and allowing them. And it requires you to start moving into this observer awareness, the part of you that is aware, that you are aware, that gently observes. So, step one, again, is about beginning with yourself. It's about cultivating a deep connection with yourself. This is the foundation. Okay, you have to learn to recognize your own inner world without judgments. Okay, yes, you can seek the support of a therapist, of a coach, who can very often mirror and help you uncover deep patterns. You can also write in your journal insights, your thoughts. Through journaling, I have also learned so much about myself that normally no would come out in a conversation with others. And then any kind of somatic, mind-body awareness practice that where you're really just feeling and tracking and observing your emotions will go a long ways into helping you to really become familiar with your rich inner world. And again, how can you then reveal your rich inner world to others if you're not even aware of it, if you can't even be present to it? So the invitation then is to set aside 10 minutes every morning, at the end of the day, in the middle of the day. I have a client who takes a lot of bathroom breaks, and what she does is she actually takes a break and go to the woman's room. She sits in the toilet, and then she does her witnessing practice, just being present. And all you're really doing is just asking yourself, what am I feeling right now? How's my body feeling? What is moving in my awareness? And you can either write this down or just simply take mental notes. The second step is to begin to create some kind of a safety in your relationships. Remembering again that intimacy cannot flourish in an environment of toxic communication. So the goal is not to avoid conflict, but to navigate it while maintain the sense of emotional safety and connection. All right, so my recommendation, if you find that your heart has been very guarded and you really long to establish a deeper sense of intimacy and connection with others, is that you begin small. You slow down and then just begin to share just small things like, hey, I'm worried about this. I'm afraid that this. I'm feeling uncertain about this. And so, again, it's just about giving yourself permission to reveal a little bit more of your internal emotional world. It's important that you use a lot of I statements. So express, I feel unheard, instead of saying, you never listened to me. Talk about you, bring it into your world. Because the moment you start saying you, the chances are the other person will become defensive and will make it about them. But when you make it about you, you say, I feel, I think, I need, I would love, etc., etc., etc. You keep a sense of responsibility, and it's about you. And by the way, I remember when I started doing this, in a very intimate, close relationship, the other person would say something like, well, what are you talking about you? I'm like, well, I can only talk about me because I know about me. I cannot tell you about you. I'm just revealing to you what is happening inside of me. All right. And so do that. Just reveal your inner world. And if somebody says to you, why are you talking only about you? And it's because, well, because I want to let you know, let you see inside of me, which is what intimacy is. Another thing is to validate and listen actively. So give your full attention, be fully present. And one of the easiest and fastest ways you can do this is just simply by saying, yeah, I hear you. Well, it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. I can see why you would think that, you would feel that. Okay. And obviously, remembering that this sense of validation also begins with yourself, with the intention of always turning towards connection consistently. It's very easy to just want to just leave things where they are and go to bed feeling angry. And instead of doing that, do your best to just simply say, like, hey, my intention with you is just to feel very connected. Okay. And so I feel this, I feel that. I want to know what you feel. I'm interested in what is happening inside of you, not just what you think, but what is really moving deep down inside of you. And so when tension arises, pause, take 3 breaths, and then just ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? When somebody triggers you, ask yourself, well, what is deep down happening behind me, the reaction? What is the deepest fear? What core wound is this touching? Is this activating at this moment? Because this will allow you to ultimately arrive at the deeper fear that is really causing your nervous system to shut you down. So the step 3 is to practice brave vulnerability. So once there's safety that has been established, and you're now able to say, "Hey, I feel this, I feel that. What do you feel?" And then listen, validate, accept, all these things. Now there's an opportunity to take an even bigger leap. Vulnerability is measured by the amount of fear that you feel when you express those parts of yourself. So each time then that you choose vulnerability, what you're doing is you are teaching your nervous system it is safe. Where in the past I did not feel safe to express myself, to share this, to share that. Now your nervous system is kind of getting a deeper it's creating new neural pathways because of the new experience that is letting your brain know, your unconscious mind, it is safe to be myself. It is safe to express myself. People are not going to abandon me. My partner will not abandon me if I tell them that I felt angry when they said this, or I felt abandoned when this happened, etc. Okay, so reveal in these intimate relationships. Give yourself permission to reveal, and then ask them also what is happening in their experience. I find that acknowledging and naming your emotions is very, very, very important. I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. I'm feeling sad right now. I feel numb right now. A very big one. Okay, just is the sense of being also shut down. And so use fear is my recommendation as a compass, because fear ultimately I find is what's standing behind, or is standing on the other side of the deeper desire that you really want. So we all crave deep connection, and so it is the willingness to face that fear, the fear of being abandoned, while expressing that emotion. So one of the tools that I like to share with my clients is, instead of just going out and sharing like 200%, it's like, no, don't do that. Okay, just take little baby steps. Just begin by sharing just 5% more of what you normally would. Give yourself permission just to go in 5% increments. You do this, and what awaits for you on the other side is you will feel more connected in ways in which you never imagined. You will finally be your true self in the presence of others. You will grow in self-confidence, self-acceptance, and courage. The energy once used for protecting your heart will be freed for creativity, joy, and a deeper living. Because yes, let's face it, when we are protecting ourselves, all the energy goes into the performance. As I said, the mask, and so all these energy is now being liberated to, so you can be compassionate, present, creative, and you will enjoy much more authentic relationships where you feel loved for who you are, not for who they want you to be or for the mask that you're wearing. So here's a final reflection as we bring this teaching moment to a close. The gatekeepers of profound love, meaning, and true connection only give keys to those who risk opening their souls. Who will you be if you weren't afraid of intimacy? If you weren't afraid of getting hurt, being abandoned, being judged, and being criticized, who would you be? What small step could you take today to create 5% more intimacy in your existing relationships? Think of that one relationship that matters to you the most, and those aspects of yourself which even now you still keep hidden from them because you're afraid they'll judge you, they'll abandon you. Well, if you could just reveal just 5% more of yourself in those intimate relationships, what would you do differently? What would you say? What would you reveal about yourself? All right, so it's time to move now into our meditation space. And today's guided meditation will be designed just to help us be more present to all that is moving into our inner world. Let us begin. I invite you to place a hand over your heart center and gently close your eyes. Taking a few moments just to move your awareness from the thinking mind and all these concepts and ideas that I have been sharing for the past 30 minutes, and bringing the awareness now into the experiential world of the heart. As you begin to breathe into the heart, notice what it is that is moving in your experience. In the Lakota Sioux tradition, there is an expression, Shanteista, that translates into the single eye of the heart. The single eye of the heart is an awareness within the heart that sees everything, that knows everything. So imagine for a moment as you're breathing in and out of the heart, that within your heart, there's that eye that sees everything through love. And so as you begin to observe thoughts, sensations of the body, the feelings, make the heart your central observation point, letting this place within you be the observer. Not the thinking mind, not the intellect, not the ego that looks at things as black or white, good or bad. The Shantaista, the single eye of the heart, sees everything through love, through compassion, through a very deep sense of acceptance. For the next few moments, just breathe in to the heart, nice and slow, nice and deep, with a nice and even breath. Dropping more and more and more the awareness into this single eye of the heart. With each breath, you give yourself permission to relax more and more into the present moment, letting go of unnecessary tension, especially around the head, the neck, and the shoulders. Letting the world around you take care of itself as you begin to fully inhabit the inner world of your human experience. Now, please repeat after me. I now choose to open my heart. My intention is true intimacy. I now choose to see into me. Recognizing the fullness of my humanity. Deeply and fully accepting my human experience. Recognizing my flaws and imperfections. Deeply loving and accepting myself. As you continue to breathe in and out of the heart, imagine now that a golden light begins to shine within your heart. This is the light of compassion and deep acceptance. This is the light of the Creator, the light of God, the light of divinity that shines within you. It's a light that loves everything that it touches, deeply accepts. It's no different than the light of the sun above us that warms and provides its light and its love to all of the creation without judgment, simply because its nature is to love and to give warmth and to support life. For the next few moments, as you continue to breathe in and out of the heart, allow this light within you to love every aspect of yourself. Let it love the wounds from the past. Let it love and deeply embrace and accept those parts of you that have shut down and closed down because of past hurts. Let the light that flows through your heart offer a softening to those areas within yourself which you've been very critical of yourself, of others, where you have shut down, where fear of abandonment reside, fear of being criticized, fear of being engulfed or controlled by others. Letting each breath you take soften and open your heart. There is great love here for you. There's absolutely nothing that the love of God within you cannot heal, cannot dissolve, cannot restore. For the next few moments, continue to breathe slow, deep, and evenly through the heart, letting the light of love and compassion soften the walls that you have built around it. It's okay to feel. It's okay to love and to be loved. It's okay to long for and desire connection and intimacy. For our souls are always in an intimate relationship with God. Dear God, our Divine Father and Heavenly Mother, on behalf of every person here today, I call for the divine light to shine in our hearts in all those places that need healing. Please gently dissolve the walls that we have built around our hearts. Please heal and dissolve the cause, record, memory of whatever it is that caused our hearts to harden and to be blocked. May this healing be not only our healing, but also the healing of our friends, partners, children, family, all our friends, and everyone that we interact with. And may this healing also be the healing of all of your children upon this earth. Amen. Take a moment now to silently or out loud repeat the following affirmations with me. I am worthy of true love and intimacy. Love and intimacy are my birthrights. I am worthy of connection and joy. The more I reveal of myself, the more alive I feel. The more authentic I am, the more others are authentic with me. I am safe to be myself. I am safe to express my thoughts and my feelings. It is okay to express my flaws and insecurities. They are what make me human and connect me to others. God sees no flaws or imperfections. For God loves me exactly as I am. I am safe in the hands of God. I am deeply loved and accepted as I am. I give myself permission to shine my unique light. It is safe to open my heart. As we bring this guided meditation to a close, I want to remind you that intimacy means, in essence, giving yourself permission to see beyond the ego, beyond the personality, beyond the mask, to the totality of who you are, both your darkness and your light. That intimacy, true intimacy, begins with you, your willingness to be present to the fullness of who you are, to see within you. And that in the measure that you deeply welcome, allow, and accept all of these aspects of yourself, and begin to slowly, gently, and share them with those you care most about. And that measure, little by little, your relationships begin to become more intimate, feel more connected, feel safer. For it is when you give yourself permission to deeply be intimate with yourself, loving, caring, compassionate, and accepting, that you create fertile ground for others to also be intimate with you. You become a safe haven, a safe container that allows people to also reveal to them their imperfections. When you give yourself permission to deeply love and accept all these imperfect parts of yourself, you give other people permission to do the same. Please take a deep breath into the heart. Once again, deep inhale into the heart. One last time, deep inhale. Slowly opening the eyes, reacquainting yourself once again with the space around you, feeling wonderful, feeling re energized, feeling safe, at ease, ready to move forward, and welcome back. How are you feeling? Please feel free to share down in the comments below. Yeah, just any takeaways or any experiences that you may have had during today's broadcast. Also, any new ideas or insights. And I want to always remind you that for those of you who feel called to go deeper in this work, I lead every Wednesday a sacred meditation space called Sacred Heart Meditation Circle that meets 12 p.m. on noon. This is an exclusive membership where you get to have direct access with me. We get to actually share as a community, connect with each other, and share our intentions. You can also get to ask me any questions that you may have. So this is a dedicated space for people that want to go deeper into heart center meditation. And for those of you who find that you would like to also learn new practices and tools that will help you build deeper connection with others, please also consider joining my Heart Mastery Circle. Both of these programs are available to you on my website, gabrielgonsalves.com //courses. Okay, these are two offerings. This is one of the ways in which you can go deeper in this work, and also you can support this work. All right, my beautiful friends, we've come to the end of our time together. So I certainly hope that you gotten a lot of value from today's Heartstream, and you're walking away feeling grounded, calm, and centered, strong in your heart, in your beautiful, courageous heart. That's it for this week. Please remember to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, I send you all of my love from my heart to yours. Bye bye for now.